It's time to talk about our girl, Foodie Beauty. She took a day off. She claimed she needed a day off to rest or whatever. If you recall, the day before that is when she had been in that real bad mood, talking about how much she hated Canada, she hated this, she hated that. She basically hated life. So she came back. And she's talking about how sick she is. And I'm talking about her face is like purple. She doesn't look the best. I mean, she never looks really good. Her face is usually looks like a tomato, but her face was near purple. At one point in the stream, she touches herself like this. And she does it on both sides, kind of like this. And her face is so swelled up that it's white. And it took, I would say, a good 5 seconds. A good, let's say, 3 to 5 seconds to go back to that purplish color. That's how swelled her face is. It can't be good. It just can't be good. So she says the reason she doesn't feel good is she increased her Ozempic. And she says, goes on to tell us, she had started at 0.25, went up to 0.5. And mind you, this is after the other day when she said she went to the doctor, and the day she hated everything, she was going on about how she was no longer going to talk about her health or any of this. But you see how long that lasted. It lasted a day. Now we're back to talking about her medications and everything. So she has increased to her dose from 0.5 up to 1. And she says, she was on the 0.5 for about 2 weeks. So she thinks she was supposed to increase now to 1. At least that's what she thinks they told her at the pharmacy. But she hopes that she heard them right. So this woman increased this medication without being 100% sure that that's what she was supposed to do. Now, how hard would have it been for her to contact her doctor's office and ask them, hey, I've been on this dose for 2 weeks. Am I supposed to increase now? Because I kind of, I don't remember exactly what you told me. Which is why when I go to the doctor, I write everything down. I'm not ashamed. I go in there with a list of everything I want to say and ask. And as they're speaking to me, I write it down. Because I wouldn't want to be in this mess that she's in. So she's complaining that the Ozempic makes her feel like she wants to, she said, yak every second. So she tells us she had to go outside to smoke to get rid of her nausea. That's her answer for everything is to smoke. I don't understand, but I know it does help with nausea. I have heard that. But she says she did get hungry and nibbled a little off of a rotisserie chicken leg, but just the thought of anything makes her want to yak right now. So then she says she did get her replacement Libre 2, her continuous glucose monitor, and she says she ordered some adhesives. I think she's trying to say adhesives. But yeah, she ordered some extra adhesives. I still think no matter how much adhesive she puts on there, she's not going to leave the monitor on there. She's going to pull the same thing. She's going to talk about she can't seal how she wants to seal. She can't lay on this side or that side. And even though she's got this adhesive on there, she's going to, I took a shower and my bra strap made it fall off. Something's going to make this Libre fall off again. I can almost guarantee. Because she doesn't want to see where her sugar's at. She doesn't want to see that when she eats this stuff, how it's impacting her sugar. She doesn't want to see that because she wants to play dumb. Because then she can continue on with these bad habits at the expense of her health, mind you. I cannot understand for the life of me. 41 or 42 years old, and she doesn't want to take her health seriously. Her sugar can cause you all kinds of issues. But it's like she doesn't care. She doesn't care. I mean, I understand that her issue with the food is an addiction. I understand that. So, well, I guess it is part of an addiction. You live recklessly, you don't care. You're just thinking about the immediate gratification and the satisfaction of it all. And for her, that's food, so I don't know. Then she, like I said, she looks terrible, right? I told you about her face looking purple. She reaches over to do something, right? And we see that her cardigan she's wearing is on inside out. She was so lazy that she could not even put her cardigan on the right way. You can't tell me that she had been dressed and did not notice it before then. Well, maybe not. She probably didn't have her cardigan on because she didn't have her arms covered probably before she went live. Because, you know, with being her Muslim, she has to be modest and keep herself covered. Which brings me to my next point. When she reaches over to do something, this pillow from the couch that she's holding onto slips, and we see she's not wearing any pants. We see her entire leg on the couch. I would say from right above her knee, a couple inches above her knee, all the way down to her foot. What is Salah going to say about this when he sees this? That's definitely not modest. A Muslim woman showed from above her knee all the way down on a live stream. Salah is going to be hot over this one, I can imagine. Because, you know, his faith is very important to him, and he takes it seriously. I mean, he was constantly on her about her not wearing her hijab properly. She'd have hair sticking out of the hijab. She wasn't wearing her shirt, the sleeves on her shirt long enough. And now she's showing her whole leg. And she just kind of made a joke about it when she realized it happened. You know, she said, oh, I thought this position I could hide everything, but I guess I can't. And she just leaves it at that, picks the pillow back up and sits there and continues talking about basically nothing. It was strange. It was so strange. And trust me, the last thing I wanted to see was Foodie Beauty's leg. She says that someone asked her in the chat if she would do therapy. And she says no, she wouldn't do any therapy. So I hope she's not ever planning on getting any weight loss surgery done, because, you know, they would make her go through the therapy first, because she would have to learn how to deal with her feelings and everything, not having that coping mechanism, the food. So she says nope, she would not do any therapy. And I think she needs therapy not only for the food addiction, but I think she has a lot of other things that she needs to deal with. I really do. And then she for whatever reason, starts going through her DMs while she's on live, while she's streaming. And she proceeds to tell us about all these men in her DMs. And she reads, like, there's a man from Afghanistan that had sent her a message talking about, you know, something about how does her heart feel? He's looking for a wife, something to that effect. Another person in their DMs, a man, saying he needed money. And, you know, she takes the time to actually reply to these DMs. Now, if you're happily married, as she claims she is, why are you even looking at the DMs? Because it happens to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, nothing. Even this ugly old mug gets DMs. I don't even look at them. I have a husband, and I'm perfectly content with him. I don't want no more men. One is enough. Let me tell you, one is enough. So I don't even open them. I don't even take the time to read that. But she takes the time to read these messages and respond to them. Why? I mean, I know part of it is she's probably bored. But I don't know. And, you know, she has no problem saying this stuff on live, where Salah could at any time, you know, look at this stuff. But I think she relies on, you know, the internet isn't that good and serious, so he's not going to look at it. So, I don't know. That's about all we got. She wasn't live that long, and that's about all we got from her. Now, I guess the biggest part, the most exciting part of the whole live was her flashing her leg. So it's going to be interesting to see if anything comes out of that. I really don't think her and Salah are getting along at all, though. I really don't. She just claims that they talk every day, but every time when he shows up in the chat, you'll see her bring, oh, did I tell you this? Oh, did I tell you that? And it seems like they're not talking for days at a time. So we'll have to see where it goes. She took a day off, and the day before that, I believe she barely streamed, and she didn't stream that much yesterday. And she was just complaining about not having enough money and about always having to pay bills. And now we got her cutting back on the streaming. So I think that she's spending time with the ex, because she cannot keep that man's name out of her mouth. The starfish, as she calls him. I really think there's something going on there. But let me know what you think.